As a kid, I used to sometimes go to my mom, ask her for something, and if she said no, I would simply go to my dad and say, "Hey, can I have what mom said I couldn't have?" And most of the time, I would get a yes. But that was only just to have a snack. These days, players are doing that for near $500 million worth contracts. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Kylian Mbappe's renewal with PSG, the contract details, the teams that he himself said that he was, looking at, and what this means for him as a player over these next 3 years. Now, first of all, that little intro was basically a summation of how he kind of got this really good, contract from PSG. He took PSG's initial offer from, I believe, last summer, had his agents, talk to Real Madrid, showing them that offer. They then, Real Madrid then bumped up their offer, which was around, I believe, 110 million euros sign-on bonus and a 20 to 25 million euro annual salary. He then took that contract back to PSG and said, "Hey, they gave me, this. What can you offer me?" He got a 100 million, or in the region of 100 million euro signing bonus, a 4 million euro a month salary, not annual, monthly. He got sporting direction rights, so he can basically say, I want the club to do this with the academy, or I want them to sign this player, I want this sponsor. He also got image rights, which is one of the biggest things in world football, image rights, because when players sign contracts, the club need, their image rights to be able to do things with, so he's going to be getting a cut in that as well, so that's even more money. And, by the way, this is all after tax. Now, when we look at the clubs that he himself mentioned that he would be, or that he was looking at, obviously it was PSG, Real Madrid, and he recently said Liverpool. Now, out of those three clubs, he chose the worst one possible for a player who is a competitor. That's not, if you're a competitor, you aim to succeed, not necessarily with difficulty, but in higher standards, higher kind of competition, in the whole base word of a competitor. He chose PSG, a team that's never won the Champions League, a team that has players like Messi, Neymar, Verratti, Donnarumma, and, they still mentally collapsed in the Champions League this year to Real Madrid. He himself has been their best player, and you could argue, but it wouldn't be a strong argument, that he's been the best player in the world. I definitely wouldn't think of him as the best player in the world. And a team that his mother wanted him to look at, Liverpool, would have been another great team, a team that's in the Champions League final. Funnily enough, both teams that he was looking at outside of PSG are the teams in the Champions League final, teams that fit him stylistically, and teams I'm sure he would have made good money at nonetheless, and had, great, he would have had great, trophy hauls with these teams. So a huge disappointment for him. I think, now moving on to himself individually, I don't think he'll win the Ballon d'Or. I don't think he'll win the Champions League. I think these next 3 years are going to be years that are not necessarily, I don't want to look at it negatively, but in terms of his footballing career, and in terms of the talents that he has and where he could have gone, what he could have had, these 3 years are going to be a waste. In the next 3 years, they are going to be extremely wasteful. I've heard rumors that apparently Florentino Perez doesn't want to sign him even after his 3 years are up. So what club's going to take him then? Could be Liverpool, but a lot of what Liverpool has now, not necessarily they have old players, but they have players who are shifting onto the older side. They will have to start rebuilding and bringing in younger players, which Klopp started to do. So it's possible that he could move on to Liverpool in the next 3 years. We'll see then. But for now, these 3 years are going to be a waste. He's not going to win the Ballon d'Or. He's not going to win the Champions League. I don't think he'll have any great team or individual accolade in the next 3 years. When you play in a weaker league, you're naturally bringing down your own individual greatness because you're playing against easy players. For PSG, this is an even worse move. You're getting rid of your Pochettino. Granted, he hasn't worked, but your whole club hasn't worked. They're getting rid of their sporting director. You're giving a player power for choosing a manager. What has when star players, no one's ever understood this, but star players do not know how to build teams. They just don't. They lack the understanding of a team game to be able to build a team around themselves, right? So PSG are going to suffer because of this, because I don't think Mbappe will make the right decisions, and I think it'll hurt them even more. And on top of that, this is all only for 3 years. If he was signing some kind of monstrous 5-year, 6-year deal, I'd say, okay, over those years he could make mistakes early on, and then they'll fix it, they'll bring in an advisory role, and then no, they're just giving him 3 years. In those 3 years, he could, destroy the club entirely with whatever possible decisions he may make. They reached out to Zidane, and apparently Zidane said no because he doesn't want to work with either he doesn't want to work with the players that they have, or he doesn't like the fact that Mbappe has such power like that, which I could believe because he was already at odds with Florentino Perez. So this just seems like an overall horrible, horrible decision from PSG. It's a horrible decision from Mbappe, and it's nothing. It's just all to keep around a player that you're hoping will do good enough or carry your team enough to win the Champions League and increase your own individual market value. So that's all I have to say on the Mbappe deal. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you liked the video, like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And thanks for watching.